I didn't wait for visiting hours. The automatic doors of Massachusetts General Hospital parted as I strode through, my overnight bag still in the Uber outside. The receptionist looked up, her practiced smile fading as she registered my expression. "Sir, I need you to ICU, trauma unit, Michael Chen." "Are you family?" I didn't answer. I was already moving toward the elevators, my phone vibrating in my pocket. Another call from my son's number. The fourth one I'd ignored since my plane landed 20 minutes ago. Because I knew he wasn't the one calling. The elevator doors opened on the fourth floor, and the antiseptic smell hit me like a physical force. I'd built a career in real estate, walked away from deals worth millions without blinking, but nothing prepared you for the smell of a place where people fought to stay alive. "Room 447, a nurse said, not looking up from her chart. "But he's not—" I was already past her. My son lay in that bed like a broken doll, 29 years old, tubes everywhere, machines breathing for him. The motorcycle accident had happened 16 hours ago. 16 hours. And I'd only found out 3 hours ago when a doctor finally thought to call the emergency contact on file. Not his wife of 2 years. Me. His father. "Where is she?" I asked the doctor outside his room. Dr. Patricia Morrison looked tired. She'd probably been on shift since yesterday. "I'm sorry, who?" "Amanda, his wife. Where is Amanda?" She glanced at her tablet. "The forms show she was contacted at 3 a.m. She said she'd be here within the hour. That was 14 hours ago." My jaw tightened. "And?" "We haven't been able to reach her since." I pulled out my phone, opened Instagram. My son's account was public. He was a photographer, showcased his work there. But it wasn't his feed I was looking at. It was Amanda's. Posted 4 hours ago. A photo of a champagne flute, bubbles catching the light, the Boston Harbor visible through floor-to-ceiling windows. The caption, "Finally got that promotion, celebrating the right way." When location tag, the Liberty Hotel, Presidential Suite. My son was dying half a mile away from where his wife was sipping champagne. I zoomed in on the photo. There, reflected in the window glass, barely visible but unmistakable, was a man's hand on her shoulder. A hand wearing a wedding ring that wasn't my son's. I remembered the wedding. 2 years ago, June. Amanda in that white dress, tears in her eyes as she said her vows. My late wife would have loved her, I'd thought then. Would have welcomed her into our small family. I remembered writing the check, $50,000. "For your dream wedding," I'd told them. "You only do this once." I remembered Michael's face, bright with hope and love. I looked at him now. The ventilator pumped. His chest rose and fell mechanically. My phone buzzed again. Michael's number. I answered this time. "Mr. Chen, thank God." Amanda's voice was breathy, slightly slurred. "I've been trying to reach you." "Where are you, Amanda?" A pause. Too long. I just heard about Michael. I'm on my way." "You're at the Liberty Hotel, Presidential Suite. You've been there since yesterday." Silence. In the background I could hear music, laughter, the clink of glasses. "I can explain." Michael crashed his motorcycle at 2:47 a.m. yesterday. You were notified at 3:15 a.m. It's now 5:30 p.m. Where are you? "I told you, I'm coming." "You're at a party. You've been at a party while your husband was dying." Her voice changed. The false concern evaporated. "Look, I don't need this right now. Michael and I were having problems anyway. He knew that. This isn't my fault." I hung up. Dr. Morrison was watching me. "Mr. Chen?" I need to see his medical records, all of them, and I need to know exactly what happened. She led me to a conference room, laid it out. Michael had been riding home from a late-night photo shoot. A drunk driver ran a red light. Impact threw him 30 feet. Fractured skull, broken ribs, punctured lung, internal bleeding. We did emergency surgery to relieve the pressure on his brain, but he's critical. The next 72 hours will tell us if... She didn't finish. She didn't have to. Does he have a chance? Yes, but he needs support. He needs family here. When patients can sense someone they love nearby, it makes a difference. I looked through the window at my son. He has family. His wife is not coming. I called my lawyer at 6 p.m. Richard had been my attorney for 20 years. He'd handled my divorce, my business contracts, my late wife's estate. He answered on the second ring. Donald, everything okay? I need you to pull everything on Amanda Chen, née Amanda Pierce, married to my son Michael 2 years ago. I need financial records, phone records, credit card statements, everything.
Donald, what's going on?
My son is dying. His wife is at a hotel with another man. I want to know who he is, how long it's been going on, and exactly what she stands to gain if Michael doesn't make it. Richard was quiet for a moment. I'll have something by morning. He had it by midnight. I sat in the hospital cafeteria at 1 a.m., unable to sleep, unwilling to leave Michael's side for long. Richard's email came through as a PDF, 43 pages. Amanda had been methodical. The affair had started 6 months ago. The man was Derek Walsh, senior partner at her law firm. Married, 3 kids. He'd been the one who'd pushed through her promotion, the one she'd been celebrating while Michael lay in ICU. But it was deeper than an affair. 3 weeks ago, Amanda had taken out a life insurance policy on Michael. $500,000. She was the sole beneficiary. 2 weeks ago, she transferred the title of Michael's car, a vintage BMW he'd restored himself, into her name alone. 1 week ago, she'd had him sign papers he thought were refinancing documents for their condo. They weren't. They transferred his half of the property to her. Michael was worth nearly $1 million on paper. His photography business, the condo, his investments, his life insurance. And if he died, it all went to Amanda. I read the file 3 times. Each time the rage built colder. I wasn't angry the way young men are angry, hot and explosive. I was 63 years old. I'd survived my wife's death from cancer. I'd built companies and watched them grow. I'd learned that real power wasn't in throwing punches. It was in knowing exactly where to apply pressure. I texted Richard. I want her destroyed. His response came immediately. How destroyed? She wanted Michael's money. I want her to lose everything. Assets, reputation, career, everything. That's complicated, Donald. Technically, if he signed, I don't care about technically, I care about actually. Make it happen. At 3 a.m., I was back in Michael's room. The nurse had gotten used to me. Let me sit there even though it wasn't visiting hours. I held my son's hand, carefully, avoiding the IV line. I'm here, I told him. Your old man's here. You just focus on healing. I'll handle everything else. His fingers twitched. Maybe a reflex, maybe something more. At 7 a.m., Amanda finally appeared. She'd changed clothes. The party dress was gone, replaced by yoga pants and a hoodie. Her eyes were red, from crying or drinking, I couldn't tell. Probably both. She stopped when she saw me sitting there. Donald, I didn't know you were... Sit down, Amanda. I need to see Michael. Sit down. Something in my voice made her obey. She took the chair across from me in the small waiting area. I can explain, she started. You were at the Liberty Hotel, presidential suite, with Derek Walsh from your firm, while my son was in surgery. Her face went white. How did you... You posted it on Instagram. Not smart for someone planning insurance fraud. I wasn't... That's not... I pulled out my phone, showed her the PDF, watched her face as she scrolled through it. The color drained completely by page 3. This is invasion of privacy, she whispered. This is evidence of fraud, of conspiracy, of a dozen other things my lawyer is currently cataloging. I love Michael. You took out life insurance on him 3 weeks ago. You transferred his assets into your name. You were celebrating your promotion with your married boss while your husband was dying. Which part of that is love, Amanda? She started crying, real tears this time. You don't understand. Michael and I were having problems. He was never home, always working, always with his camera. I was lonely. So you decided to cash in? No! I needed security. I needed to know I'd be okay if things didn't work out. Things didn't work out because you were planning his exit, or his death. I never wanted him to die. Her voice rose. A nurse looked over. I leaned forward, kept my voice quiet. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to divorce my son, immediately. You're going to sign papers waiving any claim to his assets, his business, his property, his insurance. Everything. I can't just... Or I go to the police with this file. I go to the insurance company. I go to your law firm with evidence that you've been sleeping with a senior partner. I go to Derek Walsh's wife with photos and phone records. I go to the Massachusetts Bar Association with evidence of ethics violations. Her hands shook. You can't prove any of this. I have 14 hours of phone records showing you ignored calls from the hospital. I have your Instagram post time-stamped while Michael was in surgery. I have financial documents showing you systematically stripped his assets. I have text messages between you and Derek discussing the plan. Should I keep going? She stared at me. What do you want? I want you gone. Out of his life, out of his accounts, out of his property. I want you to disappear so completely that when he wakes up, you're just a bad dream he barely remembers. And if I don't? Then I make sure you're the one who loses everything. Your career, your relationship with Derek, your reputation, possibly your freedom. I'm 63 years old, Amanda. I'm rich, I'm connected, and I have nothing but time and motivation. You're 27, and you've made a mistake that could define the rest of your life. Choose wisely. She was full-on sobbing now. I need time to think. You have until 5 p.m. today. Sign the papers or face the consequences. I stood up, walked back to Michael's room, left her there. Richard called at noon. She's signing. Her lawyer called. She's signing everything. Good. Make sure it's ironclad. I want every asset back, every document reversed, every claim voided. Already done. She's also agreed to a statement saying the marriage was over before the accident, that she has no claim to insurance or assets, and that she'll make no attempt to contact Michael again. What about Derek Walsh? Richard's voice carried a smile. His wife received an interesting package this morning. Photos, phone records, hotel receipts. She's filing for divorce and naming Amanda as co-respondent. Derek's firm is conducting an ethics investigation. Amanda's being placed on administrative leave pending review. I should have felt satisfaction. Instead, I just felt tired. One more thing, Richard said. I had an investigator look into the accident. The drunk driver? 22 years old, no priors. But his blood alcohol was 0.18, more than twice the legal limit. Is he being charged? Vehicular assault. But Donald, the kid is cooperating fully. He's devastated. He didn't mean to, I know. I'll deal with that later. Right now, Michael is the only thing that matters. Michael woke up on day 4. Slowly, groggily, confused by the tubes and machines. But he woke up. Dr. Morrison called it a miracle. I called it my son being too stubborn to die. He couldn't talk with the ventilator, but his eyes found mine, questioning. You were in an accident, I told him. Motorcycle. You're going to be okay. His eyes moved around the room, looking for her. Amanda's gone, Michael. I'm sorry. But I'm here. Your old man's here. He blinked. Once. Twice. I couldn't tell if he understood, or if he was too medicated to process. Just focus on healing, I said. Everything else we'll deal with later. 3 weeks later, Michael was transferred to a regular room. The ventilator was gone. He could talk, though his words were still slurred. Dad, he said one afternoon. Where's Amanda? Really? I pulled my chair closer. She's gone, son. She's not coming back. Did she ever come? To the hospital? Once, briefly. He was quiet for a long time. I knew things weren't good. I didn't think she'd leave when I needed her most. I know. What happened? Really? I could have lied, could have made it easier. But Michael deserved the truth. I told him everything. The affair, the insurance policy, the asset transfers, the celebration at the Liberty Hotel while he was dying. He cried. Not loud, not dramatic, just tears sliding down his face as he stared at the ceiling. I loved her, he whispered. I know you did. How could I be so stupid? You weren't stupid. You were trusting. That's different. Same result, though. I gripped his hand. No, not the same result. You're alive. You're going to recover. You're going to rebuild. And you're going to be smarter and stronger because of this. Did you do something to her? I made sure you were protected. That's what fathers do. He looked at me then. Really looked at me. What did you do, Dad? I made sure she couldn't hurt you anymore. That's all you need to know. Dad, Michael, you almost died. While you were unconscious, she was trying to position herself to take everything you'd built. I stopped her. That's the end of it. He was quiet again. Then, thank you. Don't thank me. Just heal. Just get better. That's all I want. 6 months later, Michael moved back to New York, where I lived. Rented an apartment near mine while he finished physical therapy. His photography business was doing well. I'd helped him restructure during recovery, brought in a business manager, streamlined operations. He was different now, quieter, more careful, but also stronger somehow. We were having dinner one night at my place when he brought it up. I saw Amanda's LinkedIn. She's working at some small firm in Providence now. I didn't respond. Derek Walsh got divorced, lost his partnership. Last I heard, he's doing document review for hourly wages. Karma, I said simply. Dad, What exactly did you do? I set down my fork. I protected you. That's what I did. Would you rather I'd let her keep your money? Let her collect on your life insurance if you died? Let her walk away like she was the victim? No, but then let it go, Michael. She made choices. She faced consequences. That's how life works. He studied me. You know what the weird thing is? I'm not even angry anymore. I'm just sad. Sad that it all happened. Sad that she was capable of that. That's called maturity. Is that what you felt when you did whatever you did? I thought about it, honestly. No. I felt rage. Cold, calculated rage. Because that's my son she hurt. That's my boy who almost died while she was drinking champagne with another man. And I wasn't going to let that stand. And now? Now I'm just grateful you're here, that you're okay, that we get to have dinners like this. Michael smiled, small but real. Me too, Dad. Me too. The drunk driver who hit Michael, kid named Tyler Bennett, got 3 years. He wrote Michael a letter from prison, apologized, explained he'd made a terrible mistake, that he'd been celebrating his girlfriend's birthday, that he'd thought he was okay to drive. Michael wrote back, I didn't understand it at first. He almost killed you. He made a mistake, Dad. A terrible, stupid mistake. But he didn't mean to hurt me. Amanda did. There's a difference. Maybe he was right. Maybe I was getting old and cynical. But I knew this. When someone threatens your family, you don't hesitate. You don't show mercy. You do what needs to be done. I'd do it again, in a heartbeat. People sometimes ask me if I have regrets, if I went too far. I don't. My son is alive. He's rebuilding his life. He's creating art again, falling in love with photography the way he did before Amanda nearly destroyed him. That's what matters. Not Amanda, crying in her studio apartment in Providence, working at a firm that will never make her partner. Not Derek Walsh, watching his kids every other weekend and paying alimony to a woman who won't look at him. My son, alive, healing, whole. That's justice. That's what a father does. And I'd burn the whole world down before I'd let anyone hurt my boy again. Some lessons are written in blood, some in tears, some in the cold satisfaction of watching someone lose everything because they gambled with something that wasn't theirs to bet. Amanda gambled with my son's life. She lost. And if that makes me ruthless, so be it. I've been called worse.